said that statement?
Almost all of them, because the first thing that they're looking at is damaged credit for many years, no job on the horizon, all their equity gone. A lot of them have tapped into their retirement accounts and are living on retirement accounts. So it's a whole list of things. Running into a lot of distressed marriages where they've already split, going their separate ways, and the one that stays in the house wants to save the house but can't financially save it. And so it's just probably something like I've never seen in 28 years. I got started back in the business in '82 in Indiana, and you know, I can remember, wow, we were really creative, you know. I remember putting a deal together on a property. It's probably mortgage fraud now, so you know, my broker doesn't send me in. That was like 28 years ago, but we were $3,000 apart. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the buyer, first-time buyer, Phil Harris. Worked at Indianapolis Power Light out on Blue Bluff Road, right outside of Martinsville. And we were $3,000 apart. Seller was moving and retiring, Mr. Terrell, Mr. and Mrs. Terrell, to Jacksonville. Probably your neighbors now, Ken. And we ended up putting a separate side deal contract on the shed in the backyard for $3,000. And Phil and his wife paid that $3,000 over a 5-year period. We did whatever we could to put deals together and get them closed, but we had buyers that wanted to buy. And in this market right now, you know, the scary part of it is that right now, for the sellers, there's no real end in sight. The employment numbers aren't where they need to be. The underemployment numbers definitely are way up there, and they can't afford where they're at. So when you're counseling them, you know, it is a numbers game. If you don't price the property right, it's not going to close, because you're going to have a lender that's not going to accept the price. It's too low. So you really have to know the numbers. And what I like to do is I go into the neighborhood and I'll see how many short sales and foreclosures there are in that neighborhood. And unless there's something that's really outstanding, that's typically going to be the number you need to set that property at if you're going to get it moved. And the condition always plays into that. But, you know, it's like having that shiniest apple in the basket. If you want yours to be next, price it the best, and it's got to look the best. And typically ours do. And we tell buyers that. When we're out with buyers, we just wrote a contract late last night. What, 7 o'clock last night, Sarah? Sent it out. And first-time buyer, 100% financing. USDA. They are absolutely ecstatic. They had no idea that they could buy a home without any money down.
Okay, it's less than their rent payment.
Yes.
$1,037 PITI for a house that is a cream puff, 3-bedroom, 2-car garage, fenced-in backyard, screened porch, and they have nothing to do to it but put their furniture in if the deal goes through. So I think you need to know all the financing tools that are available out there. There's a whole bunch of them, and I think that back to sticking your head in the sand, you have to look at other avenues to bring and put these deals together and know it. You have to know it when you meet with your buyers, so that you can, like your sellers, you can direct them to the outcome that you know is best for them. Now, sometimes you can't just tell them what's best for them. Like Craig said before, and Maurice has alluded to it, you just kind of set the strategy and the open-ended questions to kind of get them to that point. When I go out and show properties, because I've worked a lot of corporate relocation, when there was a lot of corporate relocation to do, I have people that come in and they have to be out. And back in your market in its heyday, it was the same way. Well, Orlando's like that. And so Sarah's just recently licensed and helping me out. And we leave and we're in the car together, and she looks at me and she goes, you know, just the way you show property, this isn't a relocation buyer. You just have to give these buyers some time. Well, I'm used to like walk in the door, 2 rooms, look at them. Is this going to work for you? If it's not, let's not waste any time. Let's go. And of course, Sarah's new, and she's like telling me it's just not, that's not her style. But that's my style.
It depends upon the buyer, I think. You know,
Right.
when you're with a first-time home buyer, I think it's important to take the time with them. Because
Right.
they don't understand the process. They have a lot of questions. They don't understand the basic structure of the home.
Right. This couple looked at 5 homes. Yeah, I don't like to show more than 7, so they fall within the range.
Even though I took my time with them.
I have a question, Steve.
Sure.
Do you get your short sales semi-pre-approved?
The lender's not going to work with them. So I tell them, you know, I can't tell you not to make your payments, and I'm not telling you not to make your payments. What I'm here to tell you is, from my experience, this is what's happening with the lending institutions. So I would recommend for you to try to do a loan modification. Really document everything. Lots of times, on the next call from them, I haven't listed the property yet, they'll tell me, you won't believe what the loan officer told us. They told us they wouldn't work with us until we quit making our payments and we were in default. Now, that's scary, but guess what? The ones that I have success with, most everybody is in a default situation. And the package, the financial package is together. We have a qualified buyer that's committed to the outcome. And when that offer is signed, that short sale package goes out within hours, typically, if the seller has done their homework and put all their information together, which is not an easy thing for them to do, because they have to put their tax returns together for the last 2 years, our current, you know, bank statements and, you know, hardship letter. The hardship letter in itself is painful because that's an emotional thing for them to do. I mean, they have to put down why they're in the situation they're in. And you know what? The hardship letter, when they put it together, it needs to be sad enough and financially driven enough on a negative outcome that whoever reads that letter is going to have a tear, because those are the deals that get put together, the ones that are fully documented, and there is a hardship, not just the term default, strategic default.